Do you believe that it's been proven that CO2 is the primary control knob for climate? Do you believe that?
No, I would not agree that it's a primary contributor to the global warming that we see.
All right,
but we don't know that yet. We need to continue the debate.
Scott Pruitt, when he was Oklahoma's Attorney General, he sued the EPA over a dozen times to stop environmental regulations, all at the behest of big oil and gas companies who funded him and who shared a chummy relationship with him. Standard corruption, right? Normal by our exceedingly low standards? Not anymore. This anti-science profiteer is now in charge of the EPA due to whatever the opposite of divine providence is, and has already taken the word science out of the group's mission statement and spent his first week courting, you guessed it, more rich friends in oil and gas firms. He also loves to drop lies that contradict basic chemistry and physics, but despite what Scott Pruitt says, carbon dioxide is one of the longest-lived greenhouse gases and absolutely warms the planet. So when this man with clear monetary interest in denying climate change is given free rein at the EPA, there is no greater embodiment of the cliche fox in a hen house. And yes, I even considered the idea of an actual fox with piles of dead, bloody chickens around it. But now Pruitt's taking the level of corruption even further, saying that claims made by climate change deniers are every bit as valid as the fact-checked, peer-reviewed, evidence-based research done by actual scientists. Red versus blue isn't just a really simplistic way to describe the division of American voters or even a clever Halo-based comedy web series anymore. It's how Scott Pruitt sees a climate change debate, as described in a recent Wall Street Journal op-ed. On one side, you see the 97% of actively published scientists who support the consensus that humans have caused significant global warming. On the other, you see the 3% who don't. 97% is overwhelming, a solid A grade. There is absolutely no way you can argue 97% is not the staggering, crushing, huge majority. But the way Scott Pruitt sees it, 97% is half. He wants to do this exercise in the EPA, a blue team with a number who form the overwhelming consensus versus a red team that feels the opposite of that, but with the exact same number of people. False equivalence is a logical fallacy in which two opposing arguments appear to be logically equivalent when in fact they are not. It would be like saying Obama once promised to work with Russian President Dmitry Medvedev while Donald Trump actively colluded with Vladimir Putin to fix the American election, so Obama and Trump are equally as competent and corrupt. Or another example, Donald Trump is known for spewing out disrespectful and careless messes, and this pig butthole, you know what, don't finish that graphic. Also, that is closer to an accurate analogy than false equivalence. It's taking a small part of a situation and using flimsy arguments to equate it to something else. That's what the red team, blue team scenario is. It's giving far too much credence to the vanishingly small skeptical minority. Things are rarely black and white, or red and blue, but in this case, they actually are. If the climate change argument were a color, it would be blue, not even perceivably purple. The red team, blue team exercise might work in business, might work in debate class, but it doesn't work for science. What works for science is evidence-based data and peer review.
What the American people deserve, I think, is a true, legitimate, peer-reviewed, objective, transparent discussion about CO2.
Nah, but see, red team, blue team is not peer review. I don't think those words mean what you think they mean, because if you were to get oil company biased and funded claims validated, you'd have to actually get a paper published in a reputable scientific journal. So the merits of the claims could be weighed by peers. It's not impossible. Oh, and by peers, I mean a range of experts in the same field, not Exxon McTotally a real normal person, and Fundy, oh, the earth is only 6,000 years old and White Jesus rode a dinosaur Smith. All joking aside, not only does the red team, blue team idea unfairly elevate the opinions of the few, it cuts down and undermines the legitimacy and objectivity of real climate science. That's dangerous. That's raising known lies to the level of truth and clear bias to the level of transparent, nonpartisan fact. Just because the fact hurts your ability to hork money into your pockets doesn't mean it's not real, or that the study of climate change is somehow broken. If you can't read the research, if you can't tell that 97 is greater than 3, if you think the beauty, safety, and viability of our only home should be leveraged for your short-term gain, you're the one who's broken. Challenge the available data, but don't assume one paper is the smoking gun that destroys the overwhelming data that points in one singular direction. Science isn't perfect, and neither is politics. However, where you differ is science isn't broken. I'm Kim Horcher. I work for the Young Turks. You can catch me on Twitter at @KimScorcher, on Facebook, Kim Horcher Official, and on Instagram as just Kim Horcher.